All right, let's call to order the RTC meeting for Friday, December 15th with a roll call.
Aye. Tracy Larkin Thomason.
Here.
Devin Reese.
Here.
Alexis Hill.
Here.
Ed Lawson.
Here.
Bill Thomas.
Here.
Mary Luz Garcia will be coming in late.
She will not be attending today.
Oh, she will not be attending today. Okay, and Hillary
Longer.
Sheevy will not be here today, and Adam Spear.
Here.
I think we have a quorum.
Thank you. Alexis, will you lead us in the pledge
I'd love to.
at the back of the room?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to public comment. I have one public comment card from Donna Klontz. Donna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Donna Klontz, and I work with seniors here in Washoe County, both for AARP and as a member of the Washoe Senior Advisory Board. I'm here today to talk a little bit about some of the ideas around FlexRide, which is the savior for our seniors who don't drive anymore, and being able to see that service expanded from the North Valleys and Northwest Reno down south is what a lot of people are anticipating in May. I hope that's still on schedule to get the FlexRide bubble to happen down south. One of the things that's happening is that many of the seniors that fit the category of not being able to drive anymore and needing to use that FlexRide service also aren't connected to the internet. They tend to be the ones that don't have smartphones and need to be able to access either a hard ticket or someone who can help them get the tickets on some kind of a device that they can show when they ride the FlexRide bus. Because when you book that ride, you already need to be able to pay for it. The drivers don't carry any money, so you've got to already have that done. So I was talking with Susie Trinidad about other outlets that seniors can get to buy some tickets ahead of time so that they can ride the FlexRide bus, so they'll have them in hand when they want to book that ride. And she showed me on the RTC website that SaveMart is one of the partners in that, beyond our two main bus stations. SaveMart is a partner where people can buy the FlexRide tickets. Bonanza Casino, Sparks City Hall, and Smith's and Winco are the places right now that are partners. I'm here to ask if we could come up with a way that Washoe County could be a distributor for these FlexRide tickets somewhere at the county, maybe at the senior center. You need to work with Susie to get it set up. It's not set up yet. And City of Reno. Could it be at either downtown or the three rec centers, Neil Road, Paradise, or Evelyn Mount would be great places. Maybe other grocery outlets, but Susie's telling me that the organization that distributes, that wants to sell RTC tickets for passengers needs to request them from RTC. So she's doing a little bit of outreach. They've got a bit of it set up, but I think we need to expand to other places where these seniors who don't drive can get to be able to get tickets so that they can become customers of RTC. Thanks for your help.
Thanks,
And
Donna.
happy holidays. Thanks.
Put that on your to-do list. Thank you, sir. All right, anyone else in the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Consent items. Anyone wishing to pull a consent item? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Oh,
We got three motions. Three seconds. Any further discussion? I got a motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Discussion items. 5.1, receive an update on the 2050 Regional Transportation Plan update for discussion of possible direction.
Good morning, board members. Xuan Wang with RTC, acting planning director, planning manager. Sorry. I'm going to give a presentation on the 2050 Regional Transportation Plan update. So the purpose of the RTP is to identify transportation guiding principle and goals, and to develop a plan to develop transportation investment through 2050 through a community-based process. So our current RTP was approved in March of 2021. So it is required that the plan is updated at least every 4 years. So we plan to have a draft for the board to review in late 2024 and have the plan completed in March of 2025. So you've probably seen this diagram before. So the RTP is the first step of the improvement process. So compared with the other programs, the RTP, the other programs that looks at more of a short-term individual project-based planning. So the RTP look at more of the overall transportation trend and the community needs and develop a plan to address long-term and higher level policy and strategies. So here are some of the basic components of the RTP. So we would identify transportation facilities, develop performance measures and targets, and provide a system performance report and mitigation. So the RTP is also going to include a financial plan. So it is required that this plan is fiscally constrained. And it will also include operational and the management strategies, capital improvement, investment, and other strategies, and transportation and transit enhancement activities. So the RTP will be developed through extensive public and agency outreach approaches. So we'll provide a bi-monthly update to the RTC board and the TAC and CMAC. We'll also have agency working group. This group includes all of our federal, state, and local partners, and we will work together through bi-monthly meetings to develop the RTP. So we'll have senior staff meetings with the cities and county. So this will be in-depth discussion with our senior staffs from our local partners, and we'll have an inter-county transportation group to address any concerns about travels between counties. It's also required that this RTP include an air quality conformity determination. We'll work with our air quality interagency consultation group to address any concerns about air quality. And we'll have public-facing community planning workshops and public meetings through social media and traditional media. So this shows a summary of the schedule and some major milestones. In October, the board approved the contract with Wood Rogers, so the consultant will help us develop the RTP throughout the process. And also, they're right now developing the scenarios. So to address any uncertainties in the future in terms of technology change, the changes in travel patterns and the development patterns. So starting next year, we'll reach out to different entities to form the working groups and start to work together. In March, we'll have the board retreat. So during that board retreat, we'll have a discussion about the draft goals and the document outline. And we'll get feedback and input directions from the board. And hopefully by April, we'll have finalized the goals and the outline. So in spring of next year, we'll have a series of public meetings to talk with the public and get input on the development of the RTP and any special topics. And in the late 2024, we'll have a draft for the board to review, and we're shooting for the March 2025 completion date. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions and welcome any comments, and you can also reach out to me anytime. As I said, this is just a starting of the RTP, and there will be more to come, and they will also have those bi-monthly updates. Thank you.
Questions from the commission?
Yes.
You do have a question?
You're shocked. Thank you for the presentation. This is very exciting to be at the beginning of this process and really looking forward to working on it with the team. I'm wondering, on the Inter-County Transportation Working Group, does that include regional planning?
Yes.
Okay, great. And we include planners from Reno, Sparks, and Washoe County as well.
Yeah, the
we?
Inter-County Transportation Working Group will have entities from Washoe County and also planning agencies from other county like Story County,
Okay, good.
Lyon County. So we'll address any transportation issues like across the borders of the counties.
And Tahoe, TRPA?
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. That's wonderful.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anything else? All right, well, do we need a motion for this one, Adam?
Mr. Chair,
There we go. It's great how you throw your voice way over there. We got a motion, I need a second.
He did.
Second by Mr. Reese. Any further discussion? Your car insurance is
I
expired.
know, I'm sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 5.2, receive a report on FY 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, or the ACFR.
Good morning, Commissioners. Christian Scholnoff for the record, Director of Finance. And then on the phone, we have our audit partner with Crow LLP, Scott Mickerson. Happy to answer any questions at the end. Presentation will be brief. As you know, we did support you the financial documents on November 30th, so it's just a recap of the process and the presentation that's necessary. So, as I mentioned, there are two NRS statutes that guide our audit requirements. One is because we are a government agency, and the other one is because we require auditing of our federal funds as well. The combined audit of those two things is called the single audit, which we have performed under the guidance and partnership of our audit partner. There's also federal guidance that requires us to complete both parts of that as well. The audit is part of our financial statement preparation, but the financial statement itself really ties directly to our goal 4 of our strategic roadmap, which is our financial planning function. So we take the data from what happened over the last year to budget for the next year, the next 5 years of our CIP. We look at the trends in that data for our long-range planning, including the RTP, which you just heard about, that 20-year plan. And then we're focusing on the fuel tax right now, as we are starting to see gallons sold kind of plateau and planning for the future of that. The result of our audit was an unmodified opinion, which is the highest rating. There were no findings. There were no management comments, and no findings or comments on our single audit, which is the federal side. So I'm very pleased. I just want to take the time to thank my financial staff. It's really an organization-wide effort to make sure that this all goes well and we follow our processes and procedures. But at the end of the day, I've got a group of hardworking folks in finance to put it all together. So thank them very much. And with that, Chair Lawson, I teed you up here. I'm happy to take any
First, do you have any
questions.
questions from the commission? Okay, now I'm looking for a motion, Mr. Reese.
okay, I'll move to accept.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christian. 5.3, approve RTC federal priorities and provide direction accordingly. Didn't recognize you with all those whiskers there, Paul.
Yeah, no, I let No Shave November run amok, so. Paul Nelson, RTC Government Affairs Officer. We've identified 23 federal priorities for this year, but 4 of those we've got funding for, so we created a new category for those ones. I'll just talk about some of the projects that we've got in the queue. Starting with the ones that we added to the 2024 priorities, Sixth Street bicycle facilities and safety improvements. This one is all about multimodal safety improvements. This is also one of our top 5 priorities, so I'll talk about this one in a later slide. Geiger Grade Road realignment. If you look at that bottom picture, that roundabout traffic has kind of exceeded kind of what that roundabout was built for. So the plan is to realign Geiger Grade Road over near Toll Road over to US 395, south of where the intersection of South Virginia Street is, over there by the Summit Mall. And then alternative fuels expansion. As you know, we're early adopters of electric buses. We've also got hybrids, and now we've got hydrogen fuel cell buses on the way. So we're looking at ways that we can expand our sustainable transportation. These are our top 5 priorities, and they're not in any particular order. The bus maintenance facility replacement with the Spaghetti Bowl Phase 4 coming up, we're going to have to replace Villanova and move that over to Sutro. So this is going to be a pretty expensive capital project, so we're looking at different funding sources that we can get. It's also going to be where we have our hydrogen fueling facility. The Keystone Avenue Bridge replacement, as you guys know, this is structurally deficient. It's been in the news quite a bit lately just because it does look like it's fallen apart. It is still safe, but it is time to replace it. It's a $75 million project. About 13,000 cars travel across it every day. So we're looking at ways to improve that whole corridor, especially bicycles and pedestrians, possibly putting them on Booth Street, possibly putting them on the bridge. So we'll see how all that goes. We do plan on starting construction on this in 2027, once we're done with the Arlington Bridges and the Sierra Street projects. The Highland Ranch Parkway and Pyramid Highway intersection where Sparks Boulevard connects to it. This is a problem for congestion. So if you look at that bottom picture, that's a rendering of a grade separated interchange where we're hoping that we can keep that traffic flowing. We've talked to people out in Sun Valley and in Spanish Springs where there's a lot of population growth. They say the biggest problem they have is coming down Highland Ranch Road. They'll get backed up and they might be at that stoplight for about 7 light cycles. So it's obviously frustrating. So this is a priority that we're hoping to take care of. There's going to be an intermediate design that we're going to submit in the fall, and hopefully we can get some funding and get the ball rolling on this project. The Sun Valley Boulevard improvements, this is obviously the main corridor that goes through Sun Valley. It stretches from Scottsdale Road up to 7th Avenue, and there's really no walking facilities on it. So if you look at that bottom picture, you got the drainage ditch. The plan would be to replace those ditches with gutters and curbs, drainage, sidewalks, make it a lot more safe for pedestrians, because right now they either have to walk on the shoulder of that road or sometimes even in those ditches. This is also one of our busiest bus routes, Route 5, so making some improvements to the bus stops along the route is also a priority. About close to 30,000 passengers take that bus every month, so it's a pretty important corridor. The 6th Street bicycle facilities and safety improvements. As I said, this is an important project for safety. It's one of the most dangerous roads in our high injury network, and it's also part of the Vision Zero Truckee Meadows improvements, which is already one of our federal priorities. The plan is to take it from Virginia Street down to 4th Street, reduce it from 2 lanes in each direction down to 1, have parallel parking, a center turn lane, 8-foot sidewalk, 5-foot bike path, and then have a 3-foot buffer between the roadway and the bike path. So we did get some good news on this project earlier this week, and Bill Thomas will discuss that a little bit more in his executive director's report. As I mentioned, we did have some recent accomplishments. So starting with Lemon Drive Improvements and Resiliency Project, we received a raised grant for $25 million. That's going to realign Lemon Drive. This is the second phase of the project from Ramsey Way to Fleetwood Drive. And if you look at that top picture where the flooding is, that berm that looks kind of like a sandbar, that's where we're going to realign that roadway, keep it above the 100-year floodplain, and provide access for emergency responders and for residents if there is another flood event out there. Hopefully with this one, I think we've got it planned for 2025 construction. Sierra Street Bridge replacement, we've got about $23 million worth of federal funding that's going to help us replace this for construction. It doesn't really perform very well during flood events, and it's also got a high seismic risk. So this one we plan on constructing starting in 2026, as soon as the Arlington Bridges project is finished. Sparks Boulevard project, this one's also fully funded. We've got close to $58 million in federal funding to widen from 2 lanes in each direction to 3. We'll also make some pedestrian and bicycle improvements. The walking path that you see, overall, this is going to ease congestion, make the roadway safer from about I-80 up to Bering Boulevard. And this project will start in 2025 as soon as the Pyramid Way Phase 1 project is completed. And then finally, the hydrogen fuel cell bus and fueling facility. We got a Low-No grant for almost $9 million. It's going to purchase 6 new hydrogen fuel cell buses. It's going to also provide a fueling facility for us and provide a high-tech virtual training for our mechanics. So we're really excited about the funding that we've received this year for these federal priorities, and we're also excited about the priorities that we have moving forward. With that, I'll take any questions.
Questions from the commission? Ms. Hill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the transit priorities, are we also, I don't see anything about expansion of microtransit, so I was just curious if that's a priority for the board and how that would work as part of a federal priority.
For the record, Bill Thomas, Executive Director. Well, Jim, I'll let Jim Keith answer the question.
Okay,
Ion too.
yeah.
Good morning, Jim Gee, Director of Public Transportation. It is a priority for us, but it's not funded by federal dollars.
Okay.
So that's the distinction. The
That's
expansion of
funded by our-
microtransit shows up in our short-range transit plan. As Donna mentioned earlier, we do expect to expand southward in calendar year, probably May of '24.
Okay.
But because it's not federally funded, it does not show up in this report.
Okay, got it.
Okay, anyone else? All right, and with that, we're. Move to approve. Thank you. Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 6.1, Mr. Bill Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at least in my tenure, I've never seen this happen, but I'm proud to announce, which you heard a little bit about, that we've received the 6th Street grant before the board even had a chance to make it a federal priority. So maybe in the future we'll have more of those, but this is a unique situation. This particular project was one that came out of the downtown micromobility study that was done in conjunction with the city of Reno. And so I'm proud to say with this funding, which is almost $9 million of federal funds, this will advance this $24 million, $25 million project, and we'll be moving quickly forward on that along with the other improvements. So I'm very proud of that and very proud of the team, particularly Graham Dollarhide, who was the author working with our team and putting that application together. And I probably don't have to tell you, but success in this competitive world comes from a combination of things, not the least of which is making sure you can present to mostly unknown individuals in D.C. in making these decisions a very compelling application. We put in for a grant last time. I think it was significantly more, and we learned some lessons. We went back to the drawing board. We contacted FHWA and then USDOT and came up with an application, obviously, that was award-winning. So very proud of that. I want to specifically thank our senators, Catherine Cortez Masto and Jackie Rosen, and Congressman Mark Amodei for their role and support in helping achieve these, because we would not be getting these funds if it wasn't for those three actively and affirmatively supporting those kinds of grants. I'm also happy to announce our new and improved website. Not sure if anybody has gone on that recently, but very proud of our team, particularly Nicole Coots and John Pons, who have been working diligently for quite a bit of time to get us to a new website that I think everybody will find impressive. I think the first comment we got from the public was how much they like this new website. And I would describe it very simply as we've kind of listened to our customers, And when you start on the RTC website, it starts with the particular area where we get most contact, which is our transit system. So you start learning about RTC with forward-facing of probably the most desired part of our website and the most useful part of our website, which is helping people plan their trips. So I'm very excited about that. When you get a chance, you know, when you're sitting around over the holidays and you want to cruise our website, glad to hear any feedback you may have too. Staying on the transit theme, today's a pretty significant day for our organization. Mark Maloney, who's been with us for a little more than 5 years, this is actually his last day, and we've kind of joked that with our directors, they don't get to leave without coming to one last board meeting. So Mark's been with us, like I said, for a little more than 5 years. His amount of knowledge and skill in the area of public transportation and transit specifically has been behind the scenes extremely impactful in our success as an organization. He's been able, just to mention a few things under his leadership, we achieved our 100% alternative fuel 13 years ahead of what we had targeted. We've advanced in the world of hydrogen fuel cell beyond many of our peers. We've created a van pool program that's a top 10 in the country. And just to reflect on an industry most of us aren't involved in, we are actually invited, small little Washoe County here, to national conferences to talk about our successes both in the electric vehicle and the hydrogen fuel cell. And our FlexRide program, Mark really was the one who got the FlexRide program up and going. And I'm personally very thankful to him in my position, because without him, I think, you know, we would have definitely been further behind than where we are today. So we've got a little video we want to show, which is our tradition, to acknowledge Mark. So if you wouldn't mind starting it, Michelle. I'm sure I speak for the board in thanking Mark for his dedication and the skill and knowledge he's provided. So good luck with your next adventures, Mark. And he is going to stay a resident of our community, which is kind of neat, given that he's traveled many places and actually spent more than 30 years in the transportation industry, most of which is in Southern California. So again, thank you, Mark. So now I'd like to introduce 3 new employees. We have 3 new employees at RTC that I'm very proud to announce to the board and to the public: Jeremy Lattin, Cy Sun, and James Ross. Jeremy, if you wouldn't mind standing. Jeremy, you're in the audience? There you are. Okay, Jeremy started as a senior financial analyst last month, November 27th. He has experience in government finance, accounting, and grants management. Before coming to RTC, he worked for the State Treasurer's Office, the Health Department, and most recently the Lyon County School District. And for the board's benefit, what we've been doing under Christian Schoenlau's guidance is Jeremy's going to be leading our grant-specific programming. So what we've created with his new position is he will be cradle to grave looking at grants. As we mentioned earlier, we've been very successful at getting grants, and I think it warranted structurally for us to really focus. And the board has mentioned that to us and say that they want us to get into that space. So Jeremy brings a huge depth of knowledge in the world of accounting and finances and grants. So the perfect combination of skills that I think you'll see us not only do a better job with our grants, but also probably accelerate our ability to get and manage grants. So looking very forward to much forward to his contribution. Cy, are you here? There she is. She's our new transit planner who started December 4th. She's new to the Reno-Sparks area, coming from University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, where she received her master's degree and works as a research assistant. She's jumped right into the thick of it, and she's going to be taking over the responsibilities that Ed Park had, particularly in our data management, most importantly our NTD data, which really tells us how our transit system's working. So looking very much forward to her. She has a lot of skills and knowledge that I think are going to benefit us as an organization. And then James, is James here? Yes? No? He's probably working. James started his job Monday as a new facilities maintenance specialist. He's been with U.S. Foods for the past 6.5 years as a technician doing work in northern Nevada and California. We welcome him, all three of these people, to our team, Jeremy, Cy, and James. We look forward to their success at RTC. We held our first public meeting for the Keystone Avenue Bridge Replacement Project last week at McKinley Arts and Culture Center. Members of the community were exposed to the project and given an opportunity to ask questions and make comments about the project, which is in its first stages of public process. RTC staff and contractors were on hand to give an update and present the options that have so far been developed in terms of how that project will move forward. I want to publicly thank Sarah Going for giving an excellent presentation and for her leadership on this very complex and all-important project. Not that all our projects aren't important, but this is probably going to be one of the more complex ones. Last Thursday, we held an annual Stuff a Bus holiday food drive. We had a great turnout from the community who filled the bus with non-perishable food and cash donations. We delivered the bus to KTVN's Share Your Christmas Food Drive this past Friday, which will use the food to benefit the Food Bank in Northern Nevada, which, as we all know, is a great community partner in helping people who struggle to put food on the table. And we're really trying to focus, of course, during the holiday season on helping people in those situations. On Monday, the RTC will announce a call for projects to provide an exciting change into how we do business. We've been working for some time with our partners in the Section 5310 program, which in a short is providers that particularly provide, private providers that provide for seniors and those with disabilities. And these particular agencies are the ones that kind of fill in some gaps that we can't do, and they've been very critical in meeting the needs of our community. Through the leadership of our PTO team, and specifically Jennifer Meyer, who's been, is Jennifer here? Yay, Jennifer. She's been really diligent in working with the FTA, and we just learned last week that they accepted our 2-year funding agreement. And the short of it, what this means is the federal requirements often limit these providers to only getting capital. And so we've worked with FTA to figure out a way to use our local money in combination with the federal money so we can assist these providers in dealing with their operation and maintenance costs, which is obviously an important part of running any kind of program, is the money to perpetuate that program. So very proud of that, very proud of Jennifer and what she did and her diligence in staying on this. It wasn't necessarily an easy thing to do, and it took a lot of time and energy working with FTA to get here, but very proud of that programmatic change. And I think people in the community, and certainly Donna, you can let us know how this comes through in the future, will benefit from this change in an amazing way. So I want to finish today with just 2 quick announcements, as we usually do, announcing the great employees from our contract providers. The MTM Employee of the Month for November is Donald Martinez. Donald has been a part of RTC's Access team since 2016. He loves his job because he can make a positive difference on individuals in our community that need his help and his service. Donald enjoys his coworkers and always has a smile on his face. His pastime is working on a 67 Chevelle Impala, which some of us can remember, which is his pride and joy, and also his family, where he has 3 daughters and 9 grandkids. He's also a very big 49ers fan, and he's expressed he fully expects them to be in the Super Bowl, for those of you who are football fanatics. Not going to happen, the Chiefs, right? Lastly, the keyless driver of the month is Bongi Barber. Bongi was born and raised in South Africa and moved to Reno in the late 90s. She has 23 years of transportation experience, so a very valuable person in our transportation network, including as an RTC bus operator since 2002. In November, Bongi's on-time performance was 98% with 0 accidents. Her hobby is golf, which she's a great fan of, and she heads to the course every chance she gets. So glad to provide those comments to the board, and that concludes my presentation for today.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Mr. Paul Nelson.
Paul Nelson, Government Affairs Officer for RTC. So Congress has until January 19th to finish its appropriations bill as far as we're concerned, because that's when the THUD expires. Some House members would like to do a long-term CR that would get through the end of the fiscal year, but if that happened, that would put our congressionally directed spending priorities in doubt. These decisions will get pushed into January once Congress returns from its holiday recess. The FHWA issued a final rule to establish a greenhouse gas performance measure for states and MPOs. MPOs will have to establish a 4-year emissions reduction target. We're also required to establish additional joint targets because our urban area is more than 50,000 people. There are some current funding opportunities, including the RAISE and ICAM grants, bike and pedestrian funding opportunities. We're looking at the possibility of applying for a RAISE grant for the Sun Valley Corridor project, and that has a maximum of $25 million. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. All right, Tracy, you're up, NDOT.
First, we'd like to welcome a new board member, Frank Lepre, of Lepre Construction. He's replacing Stephen Esquaga, who rotated off the Transportation Board. Frank is a third-generation Nevadan, raised in the Reno-Sparks area, and a very active community supporter, doing a lot of preschools for the communities and also a heavy supporter of the Boys and Girls Clubs. So we're looking forward to him serving on the board. And this, very exciting, this is actually, it said to be activated, but it has been activated. As of yesterday, Warrior Way, the traffic signal up at Tahoe, is now fully online. We also have, and we did coordinate with Douglas County and other local agencies to finalize the signal phasing and timing. And then also we have removed highway parking near the signal to reduce safety concerns, and we'll continue coordinating with the US 50 corridor partners to evaluate additional parking opportunities at the lake to move them off the corridor. On the US 9395 North Valley's widening, it has begun, work has begun. It will be completed at the end of 2025. So you're going to see over the next several months, you're going to see a lot of overnight lane and ramp closures, but the major construction will start in January. Very looking forward to it. That adds a lane to southbound 395, North McCarran to Golden Valley Road, and then also construct additional merge and auxiliary lanes between each freeway ramp, a braided freeway ramp northbound US 395 over Panther Valley on ramp to the Golden Valley Road, repave both directions, and construct new sound walls, retaining walls, and aesthetic thoughts. It's been a long-needed project, and it will be a little bit painful for a while. I mean, to be frank, traffic control is going to affect everybody, but it's coming, and it'll be done. And in 2026, we'll add another project to that. And so now, we say goodbye to Darren Tedford, Deputy Director of Administration, after 30 years with the department. I don't know why they keep thinking 30 years is enough. But Jeff LaRue is also retiring, and he was a Deputy Director of Operations and Maintenance. So their last day is actually next week. But we thank them for their time and they've done a phenomenal job, and now they've gone moving on to other opportunities in their life. And on the last slide, I am welcoming the two new deputies who have been appointed. Many of you are familiar with Sandra Rosenberg. She will become the Deputy Director for Planning and Administration in about a week officially. She has been with the department for 15 years. The last 9 years, she has been the Assistant Director of Planning. And then I think most of you are actually familiar with Sandra. And Mario Gomez is now the Deputy Director for Operations and Maintenance. He has been with the department for 23 years, with the last 4 years as the the District Engineer in District 1. So his position is located in Las Vegas. But, so we welcome them, and we start a whole new kind of front office. And that's it. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Tracy. Any questions from the commission for Tracy? Okay. Then how about any commissioner announcements or updates?
Mr. Chair, if I would just take one moment. I don't have any announcements or update, but I wanted to specifically thank RTC and the City of Reno folks for working on the 6th Street project. It's a really big deal. I drove down 6th Street this morning just as I was coming here to look at what it looks like today, and I know that what it will look like in another year and a half or 2 years from now will be significantly improved, and it's just a really good project and something I think our region can be proud of. I know it got national attention. The Biden-Harris administration and our senators and Congressman Amodei all worked very hard on it, and I certainly know it would not have happened without the hard work of Mr. Dollarhide and Carrie Koski and her staff at the City of Reno. So incredibly important and impactful project. So I just wanted to say that. Second thing is I want to thank Mark Maloney, and I know he's retiring, but he made it so easy to transition onto this board for me. I had a lot of questions. I still have a lot of questions, and this was always so gracious in sharing his knowledge with me. So excited for his next adventure, but thankful to have had him here while I came on board. So thank you so much.
Alexis, you got anything? Well, I'll just end it by saying happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next year.
Mr. Chair, is there any public comment for the last public comment period?
We're not taking public comment today. No. Anyone in the public wishing to speak at this time? All right, we're on to my favorite subject, adjourn.